let's do the subnet. In the class C. So you want to do the full network portion or the host portion?
The host portion.
Okay. So anything whenever you are taking, for instance, subnet, whenever you are calculating subnet, so you need to use the formula which we need to use. 2 bits, borrow 2 bits. I just preparing yesterday, so it was the best way to use it, so that's easy to understand. So borrow 2 bits. So what it means? For instance, in every IP, what is the class C range? The class C range. 190,
191 to 239.
Actually, it's 239. Yeah, that's right. So this is the class C range. So how it's look like? 192, 168, 1.1. This is how it looks like, right? What is the subnet mask for this class C? Class C having the subnet mask of 255.255.0. So this one comes under network. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
So this is how it looks like, actually. The 3 comes under network portion, the last one comes under the host. Okay?
Okay.
So let's take an example in the class C. My requirement says 2 subnets. Let's take example very simple scenario, 2 subnets. So how we can take 2 to the power of 1 is equal to how much?
2.
2, right? 2 to the power of to the power of 2 is equal to 2. So what it means, in the last, which portion you are going to divide, anything the subnets which you are going to divide. So the last octet of the host portion is divided into the host portion is divided into 8 bits. Right? So 8 bits is divided into 8 bits, the range 1 to 150, 255. Let's assume. So 255. So 255, how the value is coming? So it's a 2 into. So how this value is coming? You can calculate, if you calculate this value 8 times, you can make it 2 into 2, 2 into 2, 2 into 2, 2 into 2. So you can see this value will come 62. Actually the value starts from the 1.
28.
32, 16, 8,
4, 2,
2, 1. If you can see from here, if you keep on calculating, then the value will come till 128. So it's equal to the total value is equal to 2. Okay, so this we already aware of now, right? So whenever you are calculating the subnets, which portion you are going to take? The portion you have to take is host portion, the last one.
Yeah.
Because the network, the 3 octets you cannot able to take because it's already pre-reserved. It's a predefined subnet, which is not possible where you can share. So where you can able to split. You got only a 255 IPs only, the post IPs, right?
Yeah.
On that only you have to split, not on the particular which is other segment. So whatever you got, you have to split. So now my requirement says 2 subnets. So 2 to the power of 1 is equal to 2. So how you can take to take this one? So the first letter, subnet, S, subnet, subnet, post, 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 post. So, okay. So total 8 bits you can take it. What I did, you can see here, the formula I am trying to use in a simple manner. The post portion I took, the last part. Okay? The last part you can see I took 138 is whole, which is part of the post portion. So 2 to the power of 2, I am using, it's a part of subnet. Subnet. 2 bits are taking from this particular post portion. So what is the value we are doing? 128 plus 64.
So how did you get this subnet and post values?
You can see the first one we are, if you can see here, what I am doing, the first requirement. The requirement I am using how to borrow 2 bits from the post portion. You have to borrow from the post portion. So the first 2 you are borrowing. So what is the value you are going to get it? Did you got it?
No.
Okay, all right. So the class C you know, right? What is mean by till you are able to understand?
Yeah. Till the 255 calculation I could understand, but only this subnet and host portion.
Okay, so this part is not clear for you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this was a separate section.
Is it because we require 2 subnets, so we are taking 2 subnets in that?
I required only 2 subnets, right?
Yeah.
So my requirement says 2 subnets. So what I am using, the formula which I am using, 2 to the power of 1 is equal to how many subnets we are
2.
taking?
2.
Because the same formula you can use. So what the formula exactly is going to be, borrow bits. It's always going to be 2 to the power of 2 to the power of 1 is equal to 2. If I want the more subnets, if I want 4 subnets, 2 to the power of 2. How many? 2 into?
So here for calculating subnets we are using 2 to the power of n formula. Is it a new formula?
That is for the post you can use. Actually, that is something you got a confusion, right?
Yeah.
Yesterday you
So
were not able to understand it. It's a simple formula. There are 2 things which you need to use. One is subnet and the post. Yesterday we are talking about the post portion. So that formula we can use it, but that formula is not for the subnet we are trying to use. We are trying to use the subnet is something different formula we can use it, and
Okay.
the post portion we can use a different formula. Let's simplify. As simple as it goes, we can able to understand.
Okay.
So that formula we can use for the other purpose, and this formula I'm just using for the subnet portion.
Okay.
So if I want only 2, then what is the value I have to take? 2 to the power of 1 I am taking.
Okay.
So in this case, what is the value I got? 2, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just borrowing 2 bits from this post portion. So what is the value? I know what is the value if I'm borrowing here, right? 128, 64.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's assume this is part of the 2 bits which you are borrowing, which is part of subnet. Subnet. So 128 belongs to subnet, and this one also belongs to subnet. The rest of them, you can see 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. So how many bits are left? Rest of them?
64. 63. 63.
Actually, okay, so 6 bits, right? 6 bits. 6 bits left is for the value we got in the 63.
Yeah.
If you calculate all this value, so there are ways we can calculate. Either you can calculate directly here from here to here, okay?
Okay.
Or else you can do one thing. You can make it as a 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 4, 5, 6. So if you calculate 2 into 2, how much? 4. 4 into 2, 8. 8 into 2, 16. 16 into 2, 32. 32 into 2. How much?
64.
Total value we are going to get it. Minus 2. Why? Because this 2 we are going to get it. One for the network, the other for
Loopback.
host. No, actually, it's for the other for broadcast.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we know number of subnets. Number of subnets, how much we got?
63. 6, 2. Number of subnets 2.
Actually, 3 to the power of 1 is equal to 2. Okay. So let's take okay, this one. What is my subnet mask now? My network is 192.168.1.1. Okay. What is my mask?
255, 255, 255, 0.
My mask is 255, 255, 255. It is not 0 because now what we did? We are using this value we are already taking from here. The 2 bits already have been taken from here. So how much? What is the value we are going to get now? To calculate this value, we are going to get the value for what is the value you are going to get it? 128 plus 64. It's 192, right? So my last after I have split it. So if you are taking 0, it means you are not calculating. If you are taking this value, which means 192. 192 means how many hosts I am getting?
63.
63 hosts I am getting.
Yeah.
Right? Totally?
Yes.
63 hosts. Actually, the calculation we have calculated is in the wrong way. So, what I have to take, actually, if I need only 2 subnets, I have to borrow only 1. Simple, same way. 2 to the power of 1, the power value I am taking here is equal to 2, right?
Okay.
So I am borrowing only 1 bit. If I am borrowing 1 bit, what happens? It's a 128 value. So now my subnet is the first subnet which has been coming from 127. So 127 in the sense, what is the value? How many IPs I am going to get it? You can see 168, 1.1, 192, 168. 1.2, 192, 168, 1.2. Like this, I am going to get things 192, 168, 1.127.
Okay.
Because you can see the value which I am going to get it. If you can see here, 64. If you can see here in this particular value, this particular value 128 in here already has been defined. The next value till the 128 to 168, 1.128 belongs to
Broad.
other subnet.
Oh, okay.
192, 168, 1.129, new item. 192, 168, 1.129. So, do you understand now?
Yeah.
How to do this?
Yeah.
So, can you explain me? If you are not able to understand, I can explain you once again. Because this is the simple formula I'm using. But I just wanted to make sure. So, how and why it was set with this requirement, and I have divided into this. So, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, let me explain you once again. See, my requirement says, like, if you can see here. Okay, so if you can see above what we are using, our requirement we got is subnet from the ISP. Let's assume someone has given, you already purchased 192.168.1.1,
Okay.
and you got the class C subnet now. This is the particular one subnet we got. Okay.
Okay.
Let's take an example. You purchased from the service provider, authority, also. But now your requirement is, I have two sites, one in California, other in Boston. So I want one subnet has to be divided into two parts. So my requirement says two subnets.
Yeah.
But I have only one. How I can able to split it? Because the two sites has to be accessible each other, right?
Yeah.
So how I can able to, using a one particular subnet, I want to make pieces, the sub pieces. Like example I have given you today, the birthday cake, right? So what you guys wanted to eat the birthday cake, you are going to cut it and split it and give it to others, right? The
Yeah.
same way, we are going to split a big subnet into a smaller portion of the subnet. Okay?
Okay.
So the theory concept you already clear, right?
Yeah.
The requirement two subnets, what we are using, the formula which I am using at 2 to the power of 1 is equal to 2. So these are considered as a subnets. Two subnets I am going to give.
Okay.
Okay, 2 to the power of 1. If you need 4 subnets, what you have to take?
2 to the power of 2.
So the value, 2 value you are going to increase. Every time you are just going to increase with value called 2. It's a very simple. It's a 2 value you are just adding. 2 to the power of 2.
Okay.
The 2 value you are taking as a default. So the first value 2 in the sense at 2 subnets, the minimum requirement, right? The one subnet cannot be divided, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the reason the minimum requirement what we are taking.
So
We
we
are taking as 2 subnets.
are taking only the first position as subnet. Is that the formula?
Exactly, the first portion of the post portion, the first post portion of the bits I am taking as a subnet.
Okay. Okay.
So now, is it clear or do you still have a confusion?
No, it is clear actually.
Okay, so the reason for taking 2, like I said, the minimum we have to take as a 2 because the one subnet I already have. It doesn't make sense I cannot take into split, right? So the minimum requirement 2, that's the reason the value we are taking as a 2. 2 to the power of 1 is equal to 2. 2 subnets I am going to get. If I need a 4, just add 2 more, 1 more. 2 into 2, how much?
4.
Very simple. 2 into 2.
And
4, right?
subnets will be to the first and second positions.
Sorry, come again.
Yeah, here 2 to the power of 2, 4 subnets will be getting, and in the formula we need to apply for the subnet for first and second positions, right?
Yeah, first and second position, that's right.
So now
So,
the total, so now total host IPs would be 192.
192. No, actually 192, wait, you're talking about. Come on.
Is it not correct?
No, I didn't get what exactly.
No, in case if you are taking 4 subnets, then the first and second positions would be subnets, right? In the formula.
Exactly. Exactly, that's right.
So the total host IPs would be 192.
Exactly, you are 100% right. So now you got it. So
Yeah.
in that case, the 128 plus 64, the two values, the 2 bits we are borrowing
Yeah.
from the first portion.
Yeah.
Then in that case, what is the value we are going to get it? 192. You are absolutely right. So in this case, we need only 2 subnets. That's the reason we are taking only borrowing 1 bit.
Yeah.
Right? So 1 bit we are borrowing. In that case, the first one, that's the reason I mentioned here. S stands for subnet. The rest all stands for the host.
Host.
So we know the value, what is the value we got it now. So 2 to the power of 1 is equal to 2. We borrowed the first one subnet, which is 128 value. The rest of them, if you count it, these are part of host portions. Okay.
Yeah.
So 128 value I am going to write it in a way how I can write it. You can see here. The IP address I have written here, and the host portion I am writing it here in a way 255.255.255.128 because we borrowed the first subnet, right? The rest of them, the host always 0. The network portion always 1 and host portion always 0. This is the default standard we need to understand. So the rest of them could be 0 value. 0 means this is not counted. So the
Okay.
network portion always we are going to count it. That's the reason we are taking only value for 128. The rest of the host portion we are ignoring because it's fall under this particular segment. Okay?
Okay.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the next value? How I know the next value I have to take this particular subnet, 128. Because if you can calculate what is the network portion I am going to get it. The first IP is 0. It's going to start from the 0. Okay, any network is going to start under the first IP. The first IP for this network is what? 0.
Yeah.
0 is the network portion. Network IP. So while seeing this, I can understand. Oh, this is part of it's a class C and it's a subnet IP. So while seeing the mask, while seeing this IP, I am concluding it's a class C. But while seeing the mask, I can able to conclude it's a subnet IP. Because 128 means how many IPs I am going to get it. If you calculate this value, you can able to get it. How much? 128. You are going to get it 128.
Yeah.
Simple. Because 255 divided into 2. So how many? 128 plus 128. How much?
127.
No, actually, it's 128 plus 128. How much we are going to get it?
256.
256, right?
Yeah.
That's the value we are going to get it. Actually, the first one is the network and the last one is the broadcast. That's the reason it's
Okay.
going to be in between where we are going to get it.
Okay.
Okay?
Hmm.
If you calculate from 1, it should be goes to 256. If you calculate from 0, it will go to 255. Okay, so this case, the first portion of this, we are going to get it as a 0. So the next portion, how many IPs I am going to get it? If you calculate this value, so 128 host IPs I am going to get it. Right?
Yeah.
Here you can see 7 bits I calculated all. So you have to make it -2. -2 means what? It's always the first one is the network, the last one is the broadcast. In the host portion we are dividing. Okay?
Okay.
Any confusion?
No confusion, sir.
Okay. So in this case, you can see what is the next value I am going to pick it here. In this particularly the software, what is the next value? We borrowed this value. The next value we are going to get it the same as a network. You can see here. Because 127 till 127 we are going to get it. If you calculate its all values, isn't it?
Yeah.
Excluding 0, I am talking about.
Yeah.
Because 0 is part of network portion. That's what I told you, right? If you calculate from 0, it should be close to 257.
Yes.
If you calculate from 1, it should go to 256. That's a default. So we are not calculating here 0 because it's a part of network portion. So the maximum ranges out I am going to get it here 126. So the next network I am going to get it 128. So till what is the IP range I am going to get it? Again you can calculate from 128. If you can calculate all these values, how much you are going to get?
250.
Right?
Yes.
So only two values. If you calculate 128 plus 128.
It starts from 1. It started from 1, so it should end at 256, right?
It starts from 0. If you start from the 0, it should get only 255. If you start from 1, it should get a 256 value. Okay? The 0 is always network portion.
So what about the last IP for this second subnet? Is it 255 or 256?
This particular, the second one you are talking about?
Yeah, the last IP for this subnet.
For this is the last IP. It's a broadcast. We are talking about it. Because the last IP is always broadcast.
Yeah.
For this one, 192, 168, 1 dot is 255.
Okay.
This is the minimum value. It's a broadcast.
Okay.
Why we need a broadcast actually? What is the advantage of the broadcast? Is it advantage to have a broadcast?
Yes, I think so, because if this particular IP is not there in that particular subnet, then it can go and broadcast to other subnet also maybe.
Exactly, you are absolutely right. Because to find the IP address, it is going to broadcast.
Yeah.
Because broadcast is the only one way. For instance, let's assume I don't know what is the IP. I am trying to reach one of the IP address, which I am not sure where the IP address is located. Okay?
Yeah.
So by default, the devices which is going to be checking the network portion, what network it belongs to I am trying to reach. For instance, the packet, one of the IP you are trying to reach, called 192.168, 1 dot 145. Let's assume this is the IP which you want to reach. So while seeing this first portion, this is the network portion,
Post.
Immediately it is going to check what network it belongs to. The first three outputs are going to check. Oh, it's a part of class C. Do I have, it is available in my network. So as soon as it sees the network, it is bombarded. The particular network, inside of the network it goes and it will broadcast. Every port, every port which is connected, every device which is going to receive the packet. So what happened after receiving the broadcast? The concerned destination is only the IP which is going to respond. The rest are going to be known. Okay?
Yeah.
So that way we can able to find. So that's the reason we need the network portion and the broadcast. Because network first need to identify where to go. Right?
Yeah.
So the network is the way only it is going to identify where to go. Do I have this network available in the routing table. It is going to check. So that's the reason we need this. Okay. So let's do few more examples. So tell me in the class C we can take one more example. Take the same IP 192.168.1. So my requirement is now.
So in any class, only two of the IPs would be requiring for the network and broadcasting, or does it change depending upon other things?
It's a default standard for any subnet today. It's a class A, class B, class C, doesn't matter.
Okay.
We need one subnet, it's a one subnet, it's single subnet. We need to have at least minimum requirement one network ID. The last part of IP is broadcast.
Okay.
The last IP is always broadcast on the particular subnet.
Okay.
The first part is the always network.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. It's a
And
default for all classes.
Okay. And in case if we have more subnets, then IPs would be reduced. I mean, in each subnet.
Yeah, of course. By default, let's take an before example. How many IPs you got in the class? But by default, we are going to
120.
get 5 IPs. Actually, before subnet, before doing the subnetting.
Okay.
So go back in the above. So how many IPs you got here? This is the last one, the post portion, right? That is the IPs we are going to get it actually.
Yeah.
8 bits. In the 8 bits, how many IPs you are going to get? 255 IPs you are going to get.
Yeah.
Right? The value right. The value you are going to get it. Only a few of that. But 255 minimum IPs you got it. Right? How you are going to be able to get it? How you are going to understand you got only this many IPs? Because the last octave is talking about the first portion. In one octave, it's divided into 8 bits. 8 bits if you calculate the value 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, 1. You calculate what's the value you are going to get in 2. So
Okay.
that's the IPs you got.
Okay.
Right? So if you got 255 IPs, you cannot use 255 one place and 255 another place, right? So what you are using? You are using the same IPs, 255 IPs, and just splitting into half. I cannot make it as a big cake, one more big cake, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the cake you have, you are just cutting it and splitting it.
Yeah.
Same mechanism is here it follows. The same subnet which you have, you are splitting it into different pieces and distributing.
Yeah.
So that means the IPs are obviously going to reduce.
Yeah.
Right? The number of IPs, what you have, 255, is obviously going to reduce in the half.
Yeah. So what about if we take the same example in class B? How many IPs will be getting total?
Class B, I'll tell you that. So if you clear about the class C, the 2-3 requirements you can do exercise, then we go with the class B as well as class C also.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the both.
Yeah.
I'll take both portions and I will get it.
Yeah.
Okay?
So this class C thing I'll do as an assignment and I'll submit to you tomorrow then.
Okay. Sorry, come again.
For the class C example, just give me the number of submits so that I'll do it myself and I'll discuss with you tomorrow.
Oh, that's great. So that's fine. And okay, this I'll give you. You can make a note right away. The minimum requirement I need. This is the subnet. The ego you got the subnet and the mask you got 255, 255, 250. Because class C you cannot make it as a host name. It is impossible.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is the IP address we got it, and I need minimum 4 subnets. Okay. The other one, the same example. I need 16 subnets.
Okay.
I need 32 subnets. Okay, try. So these are these 3 examples I am giving you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's do class B.
Yeah.
Class B. What is the class B range?
One 129 to
Actually, it's going to start from 128.
okay. 128 to 190.
Simple. 191 because
Yeah,
the
191.
class C starts with 192. So before 190, it's a class B. That's all.
Yeah.
And what is the class A range? It's a 1 to 127. After that, any IP starts with far another class. It's very simple. You can remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before the class C, after the class C, so in between it's a class B. So we know the range is the class B 128 to 190. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the class B range. And what is the subnet mask for the class B?
255 0 0.
255 or 255. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in this case, I wanted to know how many IPs I am going to get it. The class B, I just wanted to know how many IPs I am going to get. So how we can able to identify? So it's a very simple. Network, network portion, host portion, host portion. We know that.
Yeah.
So two are part of network and the other one part of host portion. Okay. So we already talked about these classes and how it is going to work. Right?
Yeah.
The first 16 bits are going to be part of network. The last 16 bits are part of belongs to host portion. Okay. So that we already have idea about that.
Yes.
Okay, let's say example how many networks we need in the class. Actually, before going to identifying, going to class B range, you got a class B range. For instance, let's assume I got a class B range called 172.16.0.0. This is my class B range. Service provider.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay, my mask is, what is subnet mask for the class B?
255.255.00.
This is the class. How we are able to identify the class B? It's already predefined the classes.
Yeah.
If you go in the previous, what we discussed, the class A is divided. It's a predefined 255.0.0, which is already predefined.
Yeah.
And the class B, which is predefined 255.255.0.0. So, how many IPs I am going to get it in the class? How many IPs I will get? Because ISP you purchase from the class B range, but you need to know how many IPs you are going to get it. So, how it is possible? 2 to the power of n is the formula I told you, n minus 2.
Yes.
Or else 2 to the power of n, instead of taking this, what is the host portion? How many bits you are going to get it in a simple way?
16 bits.
2 to the power of 16, just take it. 16.
Okay.
Okay, minus 2, how much? So 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into 2 into, you can take the 16 times, or else you can do 2 to the power of 16, how much you are going to get? 65,535. Calculate that. So how to calculate actually? There are many ways to calculate. There are many ways to calculate. So 2 into 2, 4. 4 into 4 into 2, 8. 8 into 2, 16. 16 into 2, 32. 32 into 2, 64. 64 into 2, 128. 128 into 2, 255. 255 into 2, 510. 510 into 2, 1010. 1010 into 2. So like this, if you calculate all this value, you will get 65,000.
Okay.
So you can take any using any formula, it should be fine. So 2 to the power of 16 minus 2. Minus 2 for what? Actually you are going to get it this many IPs, but minus 2 we are taking, we are removing the default formula. We are going to use 2 to the power of n minus 2 because the 2 IPs which goes to, one for the network portion, the other for the broadcast. That's a default. Okay? So whenever I am seeing the 0, the value is going to be, it is a network portion.
So in that case, if it is 2 to the power of n minus 2, it should be 65,534, right?
Exactly, 534. Is it?
Okay.
534, is it?
Yeah.
35 or 34?
34.
Anyway. Yeah, it's 34. 2 to the power of n minus 2, right?
Yeah.
You included minus 2 also.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So the value, if it is going to start from the 0, the minus 2 if you are making. So actually I removed this minus 2. That's the reason I just put it in the value. It is going to be starting from the 0 to this value.
Okay.
Okay. If you take minus 2, then it will go to 4. The 0 always is not going to come. It's a minus 258. 0 is always not going to count. Then when you remove the value, the last value, which will be, you are going to take it 65,500. Okay?
Yeah.
So now in the class B, I know how many IPs I have. 65,534 valid IPs and valid IPs, right?
Yeah.
These are the valid IPs. So what is the first IP? The gateway. Dot 1 should be first IP, right?
Yes.
So till I'm going to get these many IPs. Now my requirement. Let's take example requirement of 6 subnets.
Okay.
Okay. Just take an example. 6 subnets or any subnets you want to take.
Yeah, that's fine. 6 is fine.
Okay. 6 we can take as an example. So now the same formula we can follow. What we followed here in the video. Okay.
Yeah.
So we followed the same formula. 2 to the power of how many we have to take? Let's say 2 into 2. 2 to the 4. 4 to the
8.
8. You can take a minimum of 8. You cannot take a 6 exactly. Because either you can take 4 or 8. But
Okay.
you cannot take exactly as a 6.
So,
now I got.
It should be multiples of 2?
Yeah, always.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you cannot take exactly. So you have to take. So it's always going to be multiple with the 2 value.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the 2 is the minimum required. 2,
Okay.
2, like you can divide it 2. So 2 to the power of 3. In this case, 2 to the power of 3 is equal to 8.
8.
Right?
Yeah.
Same value. So we know what is the value I got it. Actually. Now I need to identify what is my host portion. 171, 172, 16, 00, I got the My mask key is 255.255.0.0. This is network.
So here the mask will not change.
Actually, it will change. I'm just taking the default which you got in Subneting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
now I am going to borrow from the. So now we need to borrow from host portion. Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to borrow from the host portion. What is the host portion? So this all the host portion which you can take it from this one. 128, 64, 32, okay,
16, 8, 4, 2, 1.
this is the one. So dot again 128, 64. The same host will follow the same formula, right?
Yeah.
This value, the zero value,
Yeah.
the third octet, and the zero value in the fourth octet. So I have to take. So I'm taking here
8, 4, 2, 1.
We know this. Now I'm going to borrow from the host portion. Host portion from where? So let me take the third octet. Third octet, the three values I'm going to consider. What is the three values? 128 plus 64 plus 30. What is the value I'm going to take it?
Why are we taking 3 values? Only 3 values?
2 to the power of 3, right? So we are
Okay.
borrowing 3 bits.
Okay.
3 bits from the host portion.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
taking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So because not based on the number of networks, not this value. We are taking based on this value, 2 to the
Yeah.
power of 3.
Yeah.
Because 2, 2, 2, 2. These two values we are going to take it as in this portion, the first portion of the third octet, the host portion.
Yes.
Okay. So in this case, the value from 128 plus 64 is equal to 192 plus 32 is equal to 222. So now I got it. What is my subnet mask for this? 172.16.0.0. My mask is 255 and 255.224. This is my subnet mask. This is my IP address. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we know the value of those particular, right? So the IPs which are the first IP I am going to get it. If you can calculate these values, the rest of the values, what is this other values? How many bits we are going to get it? So 16 minus 3. How many bits?
16 minus?
16. This complete two host portions are 16, right?
Yes.
So 16 we already taken 3 portions, 3 bits.
3 bits
for the
already
network,
done.
right?
Yeah.
So remove this 3. How many bits are left?
13.
13,
No.
right? So yeah.
So if it
16
is
minus
16, then I think 6 bits should be gone, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
3.
Got it. Yeah, got it.
So only 3 bits.
Yeah.
So in this case, how many host IPs I am getting? So I wanted to know how many host IPs I am going to get. So 2 to the power of 13. What is the value I am going to get it? 2 to the power of 13. So
16. Sorry. It is 8,192.
8,192.
Yeah.
Each subnet we are going to in each subnet, I am going to get this many IPs, but you need to minus 2 also. Minus 2, right? Always this is 8, 1. Each subnet we are going to get it, those many IPs.
Okay.
So this is the one particular subnet, but my requirement says how many? 8 subnets.
8 subnets.
Right?
Yeah.
So minimum I'm taking the 8 subnets. So what is the next address I am going to get? What is the next address I am going to get it here? You can see here the third octet, where we have put it here, 32, right?
Yeah.
So the next IP I am going to get it 172.16.32. Because if you can see in the above portion 172.16.0.1, because 0 is the network portion,
Yeah.
1 is the valid IP. So I am going to get it 16.0.1 2. Like this, I am going to get it the maximum, if you can see, 16.0.255, right? 255 is also valid IP in this case. By default, 255 is belongs to broadcast, right? In this case, it is going to be a valid IP because
Yes.
the 255 is not acting as a broadcast.
Yes.
So, if you can see, what is the next value I am going to get? The next value I will get it 16.1. After this value, I am going to get it this one.
Okay.
Okay. So till the value goes, what is the value goes before this value? 172. 16.31.245 is mine. Okay.
Okay.
Even I can take it to tell you the other way. So let me give you an example. So the subnet mask which you have, the subnet mask. I'll give you in one other scenarios also. The way subnet mask 3 bits we are counting. Right?
Yeah.
So 3 bits we are taking this one. So 3 bits is equal to what is the 3 bits? 128 plus
64. 32.
We know this one. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. The range of ports we know. 2 to the power of 13 we already taken. So now I wanted to know the range of this particular name. So how I can able to take the ranges which you can able to take simple way. The ranges of network. Okay. So what is the ranges we are going to take it from here? 0 to
250.
okay. So the range is always going to be here. You can see the range is always going to be increment this value. Increment value with the last bit network. So always this is going to be, it is going to be increasing 32. The next value we are going to get it 32. So what is the value, other value I am going to get it? The networks, number of networks. The first value I am going to get it 172.16.0.0. The second value I am, the second network I am going to get it 16.30.
So network is nothing but a subnet, right? Is it, or is it different?
It's a subnet, exactly.
Okay.
It's a subnet.
Okay.
32 plus 32. You can add simply in the 32, 32, 32. Keep on adding. So 32, if I'm adding, how much I'm going to get?
64.
60, yeah, 62, 72, 60,
96.
96, yeah. 72, 60, 128. Yeah, 128.
92. 224. 256.
So you can count it how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the not valid. 256 we don't have. How many networks are there?
Okay. Yeah, 8 networks.
So now you know how the range we got it.
Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Do you want to take any examples, few more examples in this?
Yeah. And what about IPs? IPs for it will start from 0 to 8192, right? For each network.
Okay. So the IPs, we know this is the number of host IPs we are going to get, 8,190. Right. How we got this value actually? I told you.
Which one?
The
Which
number
one?
of remove this network host type, the 3 bits, and
Yeah.
count this 3 all 13 bits. 2 to the power of 13. How
13.
much?
8192.
8,192.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that many IPs you are going to get it in between this range.
For each network, right?
Each particular network.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to take few more examples on this?
Yeah. I would try it, and I'll discuss with you tomorrow.
Okay, you can try any of the three methods.
Sorry.
Yeah, you can try the same which I have taken. The same I can
Okay. For the same subnets in class A and class B.
class B. Class
Okay.
B also.
Okay.
So simple going to 173. Mask will be changed. So this is what I require.
Yeah.
Okay, so just 2 minutes.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Carry on.
So let's take an example of class A. Class A. What is the class A range? Hello? 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 Hello?
Yeah, Prabhakar. Actually, I was also away. I just came back.
Okay, let's take one more example. Let's talk about class A. What is the class A? Let's start. 1 to
120.
right?
Yeah.
1 to 157 is the class A range. So what is the mask for the class A range?
255000.
So it is divided into network. Right? So the last 3 bits has been divided into host portion. The first bit has been divided into network portion. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take an example. You got IP range, IP subnet, 10 dot slash 10. So this is the range we hold from the ISP. Okay.
Okay.
So how many IPs we are going to get? First we need to know how many host IPs. First we need to know. So how you are going to identify how many host IPs I am going to give? So very simple. Remove the network portion, borrow the count the host portion. Host portion 8 plus, that is 8 plus
8 plus 8. Plus
8 plus 8 is equal to
8.
2 to the power of 16
216. 16777. 216.
So this is the range of subnet channel. It's a very big range.
Yeah, very huge.
So now my requirement is 16 networks. Requirement is 16 16 subnets
Okay.
or networks. It's a post statement. Subnets or networks are same.
Okay.
Okay. So how to do it? So 16 2 to the power of 8 is equal to, actually 8 is a good number. 2 into 2, 2 to the 4, 4 to the 8, 8 to the 16. So 4. Right?
Yeah.
So we know the value of the 2 to the power of 16. In networks, we are going to predict 16 networks. So, but how to take the value? The value of the class A range mask 255, 255, 255, 0. This is the my mask I got it. Network, host, host, host. So let's borrow from the host portion. So what is the host value? 128. 64.
32
64,
dot 60.
so we know the last three host portions I just taken, not for the network portion.
Yeah.
I ignored the network portion. I was taking the host portion. Three options. So what is the 2 to the power of 4? So it means take the 4 values. Okay.
Yeah.
Take the first 4 values. So 128 plus 64. The step one, what we need to count? We need to count from the left to right.
Yeah.
Okay. Always remember the subnet we need to count from the left to right. 64, 32 plus 60.
240.
192, 224, 240. Good. Because 8 plus 12, 12 plus 2 plus 15. So remember 255 minus 15. Right?
Yeah.
240 is mine, the value which I got it. So how you can able to write it? 255. The first IP range, this is the first network alpha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's the first network I'm going to do? It's a slash 12. See, I'm saying slash 8, right? How is this value I got it? The first portion of the network, when you calculate all it builds, is talking about the digits. Okay? So if you take about these 4 values, 8 plus 4, how much? 12. Okay? Sometimes I can, most of the scenarios you can even see, they are going to write it this way, slash 12. What it means, the first portion of the network 8 bits plus 4 bits, it's all complete 12 bits has been taken from the network page. That's the reason they are going to write it. Okay?
Okay.
So sometimes they are going to write it in this way, but do not confuse, it's the same value. So 8 plus 4, how much? 12. So you can count the value. The first 8 values we know, 2 by 5. And the next out of 4 values we know what is that? It's a 2 point, which I have written. I am writing here in this. Okay. So I wanted to know how this networks I am getting this many networks. Right? So I need to know how the exactly the network I am coming this many networks. 16 networks that I am saying. What is the value? It is always going to be 60.
64.
Always it is going to increment the 16 value.
Yeah, 80.
64 plus 16, 80.
96. 112. 128. 144. 160. 176. 192. 208. 224. So like this, how many will be getting?
Sorry.
So like this, how many will be getting out?
Till the octet goes 255. The third octet goes. Because we are
Okay.
dividing this portion, right?
Yeah.
So till
So,
255 it goes.
okay.
So,
So this is the last
it is 60. So you won't get 256. You won't get, right?
Yeah.
So we have 255. The maximum. So
Yeah.
you can see how many?
1, 2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
60.
9, 10. Have you got it? 60.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we wanted to know each subnet how many I am getting. Like in each subnet, how many hosts. So this is we need to the second portion of the host. We already borrowed the 4 bits, right?
Yeah.
How many bits left?
20.
So total 16 plus 4, 20 bits, right?
Yeah.
So 2 to the power of 20 is
1048576.
104856.
76.
This is the IPs, the valid IP.
Okay.
Is it clear? This
Yeah.
So you can try the same edge for the class A also. Remember, part 116 we already completed. Christopher?
I think it is okay for today. We'll continue tomorrow.
Okay, the subnetting, you want to go through that?
Sorry?
You want to go through the subnetting, then you want to start the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I take a small session?
Sorry?
Because any other session, can I take the iOS or any other module which I can?
Okay. Just some small topic is enough. Yeah.
Yes,
That's be fine. Yeah.
that's a basic, like, so the output.
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So here we are going to talk about what is the Cisco operating system. Let's talk about that. Cisco operating system, iOS software. Any of the network devices today. So there are an example you can see in the screen. We have a one switch, right? So every device, the network component, they have their own operating system. Okay? Cisco is manufacturing company where it's having its own operating system, which is not really dependent. Like example, for instance, if you are using a SAP or any application you are using, okay? So you need to dependent an operating system. For example, Windows. Windows is a base operating system which is dependent. So after entering into Windows, you can enter into SAP application, right? So either you can use Linux or Windows. But the base operating system is needed, right? So, but it's a third-party software which you are installing on the Windows platform. Whereas Cisco iOS software, it does not contain any third party. The Cisco is the manufacturing company, they have their own operations. That's what we talk about. This chapter we are going to talk about what is the iOS feature, what kind of devices we have, what kind of modes we have. So how this operating system going to work. Okay. So features to carry the chosen network protocol and functions. So what are the features we have and how the network protocol is going to be functioning. Connectivity for high-speed traffic. So how many type of devices we have connectivity types? So in the physical device we have the router. What are types we have? So it's going to talk about all this stuff. Secure to control access, location, and not. So how you can protect actually the device? So on what basis? For instance, someone connecting just with cable, they can able to access the router. But how they can ensure they are going to be securing the device? We are going to talk about that. Scalability to add interface and compatibility as needed in the network. So for instance, today I have the 500 users. What if my number of users are going to increase? I may go to 200. So how you can able to do it? Reliability to ensure dependent access to network resources. So how you can ensure the network is going to be up and running every time? Okay. So let's talk about the first topic. Configuring network device. In initial configuration of the device, there is an initial default settings are sufficient. such to operate router or switches in a layer 2 switch. A Cisco device will be prompted the initial configuration with no the configuration is involved. So what it says, for instance, by default, any device you take, the router or switch is having its own default settings. Default settings in the sense it is having a minimum configuration you can able to do. It's a kind of custom template which is going to be up here where you can configure. Okay?
Okay.
So that can provide you an flexibility of just configure the default setting. So by default, what happens if there is no configuration? Okay? In that case, if you are, would you like to be configure initial configuration? The first time that the device boot, it will ask you in the initial mode saying that would you like to configure the router using the default setting. If you say yes, it will configure the custom setting. If you say no, then you can be able to manually configure. As a Cisco engineer, it is always recommended to configure manually. Okay. Additional configuration tasks set up the device in the following protocol testing and the parameters after So any configuration which you are doing, additional configurations, like example, the device to logging a device, you need to have an IP address. To managing the device, you need to have an IP address and the access of the different strategies. Like example, there are different methods you can access. Let's talk about inside. Okay. An overview of the Cisco device pattern. The first time that the device boots, what happened? If you just powered up, plugged into the head, what happened? Find and check the hardware. What hardware you are using? It is going to check the device is when it is booting, the boot process initially. First, it is going to check what is the operating system there. Okay. That's the first time it is going to check operating system. Cisco router. Okay. So after finding the hardware platform, the next one is going to check, do I have a valid iOS operating system image, which is support. Okay. So if it choose, it will check the operating system image, what image I have. Whether there are different type of images we have. So it is going to check, do I have the iOS operating system image, which I can do. So after finding the iOS image, finally it is going to be checking the configuration tab. There are 3 steps formula it is going to take. The first one, initial state level. As soon as you boot the device, first it is going to check finding the hardware. Okay?
Yeah.
So after finding the hardware, it is going to check the next one, operating system image, iOS image.
Yes.
Then it is next iOS image. Then next one it is going to check the configuration. Do I have a configuration there? So this one is parameter which is going to be checking.
So what is this difference between device hardware and device configurations?
Device configuration hardware. Hardware in the sense what? So it's a hardware platform manufacturer. For instance, the different hardware types. Example I can give you. PC Pentium 4 we have, i7 we have, i5 we have. Why we have a different hardware? Because every hardware has its own functionality. The more hardware improves, the more speed gets improved. The more features get supported, right? The hardware features will be different from each hardware to one hardware to other hardware. It depends upon the hardware, what hardware you are using. As soon as the system boot up, it is going to check what is the hardware platforms which is going to be functionality. Okay? The configuration is completely different. See, once it identifies the hardware, once it identifies the operating system is the base where you can operate and everything you can able to configure the device. So the configuration of the device, for instance, let's assume. So you have 100 users. 100 users using a Ethernet connection. You configure the device, the switches are router, whatever so. So what happened next time it is rebooted? What happened next time the router or any of the device rebooted? We need to have a configuration file to read, right? To store. For instance, whenever you are typing anything, you are saying the capture, so it is going to be stored somewhere, right? Where it's a hard disk. It's a similar way the device also, the configuration, whatever you are typing, which is going to be stored on the device. Okay? So whenever you are typing anything, it is going to be stored on the temporary, which we call it RAM. Read only random access memory. So whenever you are saving anything, it will go to hard disk, right? It's a permanent. So whatever you are typing, what happened in case of the system reboot, you won't get it, right? It's a temporary buffer stored. So when you save the file, you can able to read write, you can able to open, because it is storing in the permanent memory, which we call as a hard disk. In the network environment, we call as a RAM. Non-volatile memory. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, to operate device, the Cisco device, router, switch or any device, there are many different type of access you can use. Okay? So what are the different type of access you have? So you can use the first one called console. What is from the console? Why is it managed to have one? Yes, one. The reason for the console code, it's a communication where the device which you need to configure manually physically. So there was a cable which is connecting on the computers, which you call as a COM port. You can see every device having its own COM port. It's a console communication port. That COM port will have a RJ. It's a cable which is going to be connected. Okay.
Okay.
The cable which is rollover cable which we talked about the last time, if you remember. The rollover cable which will be going to connect to the device, network device, on the console board. So, using after connecting the physically this device, the PC to the devices, network devices, then you are going to use a special kind of program called hyper-terminal. There is software which is Windows, which is having. You can use hyper-terminal, or there are many other tools. You can use Paylater, Secure CRP, Secure tool. Okay, using this tool, you can able to access the device IOS operating system. The speed which you can able to get it, physically using this particular tool. Hyper-terminal is one of the famous tools. But apart from that, there are many other tools you can use it to secure the CRP. Okay.
Can you use me a little louder?
Is it audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, I am talking about, so to configure any device, you need to have a tool which is installed on your PC. So this COM tool which is connected to on the PC, you need to have the software, the baseline configuration which the front end view, the front end, a screen which is going to be appear where you can able to configure it. So that software we can use different software we can able to use. One is hyper-terminal. This is one of the famous software. Okay.
Okay.
The second software is PuTTY. PuTTY.
Sorry? PuTTY. Okay.
PuTTY.
Unix.
Yeah, PuTTY. PuTTY. And the third software is Secure CRP. And the fourth software is it's always with the small tools which you are using. Using that tools, you can able to get a screen where you can able to configure the network devices. Okay? So that communication we are calling as a physical console port communication.
Okay.
To access the devices, network devices, there are different methods you can use. So the first method which I explained you, a console port which is physically unique. The device has a cable connected to the router or PC or switch. The PC also has a console port which is connected and the communication to a COM port. Okay. So we need to basically log in device. Okay. The second one called auxiliary port. What is meant by auxiliary port? The auxiliary port is the way it is used for only router only. You can see router only. Means the switches does not contain auxiliary port. The reason for the auxiliary port is defined. For instance, let's assume you are located in the somewhere remote. Okay, so a remote location, your port. So you want to support the router login remotely. You don't have any physical connection. The router may not be just configured the base configuration to support auxiliary. So what you are going to do, you are located in external, you are dialing a number like a phone number. Okay? It's similar like a phone number, you are just dialing it. After dialing it, the modem will be translating a connection to devices, routers. So the modem immediately connects to a device called router. So that thing will provide you a screen. In the sense, you do not be sitting anywhere. You can just dial the number to connect. With the service provider, can able to provide the services to internet. It's a kind of telephonic connection. Okay?
Okay.
Using this auxiliary port, you can able to access remotely anywhere in the world. So that's a long argument. So the first one is the physically, the second one is wherever you are available, you can just open that hyperterminal software and dial the number where you can able to connect it without remotely. That is the second process. Okay? So which is most probably most of the users are not using this feature. Okay? So hardly I can say out of 100%, maybe 2% to 3%, they can use this auxiliary. So the third way of communication device, not the network device, you can use called interfaces. What kind of interfaces you have? So there are different type of interfaces you have. One is telnet. Telnet is the application where accessing the device remotely sitting anywhere. So you need to have just IP address to configure the base configuration of the device, the router or the switch. So you need to have a minimum configuration. So as soon as the minimum configuration is entered, you can able to see the device you can able to log in. Anyway, we need to have the IP address at least, one IP address, the router device. So what happened? Using the IP address, you can able to connect it remotely. But these interfaces which we are talking about, telnet, virtual terminal, okay? So this all will manage. This all can be accessible remotely via virtually. In the sense, these interfaces are virtually, logically located. It's not physical process. Okay?
Okay.
So these ports are can be able to access anywhere in the network or anywhere in the internet as well.
Okay.
For instance, like example, once you configure, you have the network administrator. You configure the device first time. The second time you want to do a minor change. You will go directly to the device to configure. No, right? You can able to sitting your desk, your office, your laptop. You can able to access remote. How? Using this telnet connection, or virtual connection, or web-based connection. So web-based connection is going to use for the HTTPS, HTTP. Whereas virtual terminal and the telnet, which you can use the same application like the cookie, hyperterminal, telephone, CRP. So you just need to enter the IP address and log in to it. Okay? There are ways where you can connect one is telnet and second one is the secure way of connecting the device.
Okay.
Configuration can come in many sources. Configuration will add the device. So there are many ways we can configure the network device. One is physically, the second one is logically. Logically using the first method, using the modems, which you can dial it and retrieve to that device where you can access. The other way of doing it is you can configure the virtual device. So as soon as you configure the virtual lines, they can use access to it. Okay?
Okay. So, as a network admin, even we need to know how to use this telnet and TFTP also.
Yeah, for instance, let's example. You are just having the minimum requirement of the network device to access remotely, logically. You need to have the IP address to configure, right? So when you are trying to access, how you can able to access the network? There should be some way you can able to access remotely, right? So that is something called IP address. Using the IP address, you can able to use any kind of programs like a cookie or any other. So where you can just log into the device based on the IP address.
Okay, so these are just mainly to log in into the network, right?
Yeah.
Same with TFTP also?
The same TFTP also.
Okay, okay,
TFTP used for the just file transfer. Okay, just keep it.
sorry?
TFTP using for only just file transfer.
Okay, okay,
Not for the device management. Just for
okay,
the file transfer.
okay,
Okay. Cisco IOS user interface function. So there are different types of IOS functions you can use. CLI used to enter the command. By default, Cisco IOS. Cisco administrator, it is always recommended to configure switches, devices, and network devices manually. Because
okay,
Cisco won't prefer to configure automatic with this app, like any other software.
sorry?
So it is manually where any other software does, right? Like example, you visa. Visa what happens, just click next, what happens, you can. So, right? In Cisco, it is not like that. You need to configure it manually all the times.
Okay,
Okay? So CLI stands for command line interface.
okay,
What exactly does? The use of the CLI is to log in devices and configure manually devices where the CLI, the command line prompt which you are getting in the pop-up in your screen, there are the link which is the cursor which is blinking up every time, which you can able to configure using the command line interface. Operate vary on different internet devices. So these devices can able to communicate using different devices. Like for example, mouse, speakers, hubs. We have many other devices.
okay,
User type paste entries in console command modes. Command modes have distinctly prompts. So what it means, it's having a different prompts. Okay, so we'll see what are the prompts of it. Enter key instructs device A, parsing, and execute that command. So what it means, as soon as you enter, it will bring the cursor. So where you are ready to execute any commands. Okay?
yeah,
Two type of executive modes we have. One is user, the second one is
okay.
user.
So it is normally like a user and an admin?
Yes, it's an admin. It's an admin
Okay,
mode.
okay,
Okay? So any device if you take a mode, it's a router or any switch. So by default there is a default mode you have. The different type of modes you have. Let me go to the one of them. Okay?
okay,
So before talking about this one, first I wanted to talk about, before talking about the mode, I want to talk about detail other terms. So the router basics. What is meant by router? Okay. So the router, do you want me to write the theory also so that you can make a note?
yeah,
It's not
it
available.
is, It is basically to connect two different networks.
Right. So what is router? It is a inter networking device used to connect two or more different
Networks.
networks. Networks. It works. It works on layer 3, that is
Network.
network layer. Okay. So this is the router definition. Actually, it does basic things. It does basic things like, for example, select best, select the best path from the routing. The second one, forward the packet on the promise.
Okay.
So these are the router functionality main. So what router is it's a device which used to communicate at different geographical location, where it is the responsible for communicating at different networks at the layer 3, which is a network layer in the OS side model. What it does actually, basically it chooses the best path. For instance, let's example I can give you an example from, if you know about Ameerpet location. From Ameerpet to Panjagutta, if you have any idea about these locations. So from Ameerpet to Panjagutta, to go these locations, there are many ways I can do. Panjagutta to Ameerpet I can go via road, or I can go via a Satyam theatre, a back line, or I can go via, there are a long distance, right? There are many ways to go Satyam, the Ameerpet to Panjagutta. But what is the shortest destination? What is the best path I can able to reach? Which one is the best path I can able to reach? The shortest and easiest one,
Yeah.
right? So that we are going to use, the router can choose the best path only. The best or best path is going to be choosing to forwarding the packets. Okay?
Okay.
So there are a different type of routers we have. Router types we have. So what is that? First one is fixed router. Fixed routers, which is non-upgradable, cannot add and remove the Ethernet or serial interfaces. So what happened? The routers, there are different type of routers. One is fixed router. Fixed router in the sense, what happened? At the time of manufacturing, it will come as a default requirement. Based on your requirement, it will come the hard way. Where, for instance, like example, I have only one port, which is connected to IoT. The next time, after some days, you want the router to be having a redundancy, purely. So there are business requirements. So in that case, you cannot able to have any upgrade. So it's only having only one connector. So that is something called fixed router, which is not upgradable or cannot be removed any Ethernet or serial interface. Okay.
Okay.
So the second one is called modular routers. Modular routers. upgradable, check, and so there are different type of routers. Like for instance, like we talked about the fixed router. Fixed router should have a default, which is not going to upgrade anymore. Whereas the other one called modular routers. What exactly is the modular router is? The modular router, which is upgradable in the sense, in case today I purchase only one LAN cable I have connected to IT. So the next time, what I can use the modular router. So just buy a module where I can just plug it to the cable and I can use it. So how flexible the modular? How? What about the fixed router? So fixed router means it cannot be upgraded. It's a fixed always. The code, the cards, the hardware which you purchase never be changed. The modular, you can buy a slot, you can buy a module where you can able to insert it and use as per the requirement. So that's the difference between the Cisco router models. There are a Cisco router model series we have. When I am putting X means there are a number of series inside of this.
Okay. Okay. So these are combination of both fixed and modular routers, or?
Yeah, it's a combination of fixed and modular router. Let me
Okay.
give you an example. This one is fixed router. So these are the fixed routers mostly you can see. The rest all is going to be a modular.
Okay.
So these many router models that we have,
Okay.
different series we have. So out of this you can see 800 to 2500 series, we have a fixed router. The rest all, apart from the fixed router, you can see the rest all going to be modular.
Modular.
Modular means which you can able to insert and modify the hardware component changes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's flexibility you have.
Okay.
Let's talk about here. Okay, user type. So there are different type of boards you have in the router. Okay, the router modes we have, there are different type of modes we have in the router. So what is the mode? The first one is called user mode. So the advantage of the user mode.
Sorry.
Is to provide
So these modes are there in only router, or also it belongs to switch?
anything, any device.
Okay.
The
Okay.
router or
Okay.
so these are there are a total 8 modes we have in the router. Okay.
Okay.
So there are total 8 modes we have. I'm going to take each and everything different model.
Okay.
Okay. The first mode called setup mode. Actually,
Okay.
the first number one mode called setup mode. It's not very,
For the router?
yeah, very mode. If router or switch doesn't matter.
Okay.
So we don't have like, so router. Total 8 modes. Mostly the router I'm talking about, okay?
Okay.
So router and switch having most like a similar functionality, except like a few observable, which are router supports, but the switch will not support.
Okay. Okay.
The reason for switch will not support, switches are designed for the local LAN, local
Okay.
area network. So routers are designed for the WAN, wide
Yeah.
area network. So if you are connecting remotely anywhere in the internet, will you connect a LAN or WAN? WAN device.
WAN.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's the reason the observable port supported by the router.
Router.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the total 8 nodes. Let's talk about the first node is called setup node. Second one is user node. Third one is language. Fourth one is global. Fifth one is sixth one is seventh one is so these many modes. I'm going to talk about each and individual modes. What is exactly the function
Okay.
and why we are going to. Let's talk about the first one called setup. Setup mode. If a router does not have a configuration file with automatically go to setup mode.
So most probably this happens when we are using the router for the first time, right?
Yeah, at the first time it is going to give you from
Yeah.
what is so, So what it means, with the setup mode is the mode where it's set a basic mode. Except any kind of fresh device you are thinking. Router, or any kind of network router which is manufactured by the Cisco. So the first mode it is going to go to setup mode. The setup mode is also goes when the configuration are not available in the device. For instance, let's assume it's a fresh device.
Sorry, for instance?
For instance, like it's a fresh device. It's a brand new device.
Okay.
We just brought it and just connected the LAN and WAN or LAN and WAN. So that case, the first time, as soon as we connect the console cable via any hyperterminal, the first prompt it shows, would you like to configure the router? It is going to give you a system dialog. The system dialog will give you saying that it will prompt you system configuration dialog, in which it is going to say, it is going to show you, would you like to configure the router automatically or manually? If you say yes, it will give you a default prompt. A default template is going to be. Okay?
Okay.
So, for instance, like if you ask you that this subject class and the password, other stuff. So it is going to ask you all the details, post me, so IP address of the subject mask, gateway, and that is. So all this information going to be asking you this particular setup.
Okay.
Setup code is useful for instance, like example, why they have manufacturing. Why they have created the setup code? For instance, because we don't know how to configure it. Okay? So that means like we say, if they easily have a screen where it's a kind of like a visa, quick visa, where you can use a default template that goes to India and say that this is the hosting how to configure. Example. So this is the hosting here. I done this. So it's a kind of like a default template configuration where the quick resort kind of configuration, which can give you a screen with a quickly and quickly be able to configure. Okay?
Okay.
So that's the first mode called setup. Then the second mode called user mode. Okay, user mode you can perform limited operation in user mode. You can check So there are a different type of So this user mode can be performed limited operation in user mode. We can check the connectivity in user mode. Like example, the following examples I'm giving you. So what it means, the user mode is a basic. For instance, you are an administrator just need for the monitoring. You can't change any parameter. It's just kind of monitoring only. So in that case, the core administrator, the senior administrator told you just to check the connectivity. You can go to user phone and check the connectivity. those kind of that kind of stuff you can able to do, you can able to perform using this mode.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the different type of you can able to use in the user mode. In the user mode, what you can see apart from those, there are other things you can do is, okay. So the telnet IP is just functioning of telnetting the device.
Okay.
And the telnetting device in the sense logging the device remotely, accessing the device remotely, where you can be sitting in the anywhere in the LAN. Then actually I might be sitting in the first floor, but the device is located in the first floor where I want to access. So how? There is a logical way of accessing. You can able to log in the device. How you can able to access? Just using the IP address with the telnet. The telnet is an application where you can execute your flexible cloud. Access the device anywhere. You just need to have a reachability. You just need to have a reachability of the network device using the IP address. So as soon as you can able to reach it, you can able to log in device and then modify it.
Okay. So router will also be having some small kind of a screen.
Yeah, router will have a big screen actually. I want to show you that.
Okay.
So you have a screen, which is going to, it's completely a console prompt, right?
Yeah.
See, how you are going to access the device? I told you just now, I was given you there are ways where you can able to access device. So
Yeah.
what is the device actually? What is the exactly how we can able to access? So let me give you one more time. If I'm not sure again, I will give you one more time. Okay.
Yeah.
So the router you can able to access. The first one is for so I'm going to give you an example of the external of the components of the Cisco router. So that's also.
Okay.
You can see here the router how it is showing.
Oh, this is router.
Yeah, this is also router.
Oh. Okay.
this is the router. You can see.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see the router have a different kind of connections.
That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, this one is very beautifully explained.
Oh, okay.
You can see here in the router I have a different kind of ports. Okay.
Okay.
The first one called a serial interface. This one, the DB16 pin, which you can able to see.
Yeah.
That's a serial interface connection.
Okay.
Say serial interface connection. It is used for actually the serial cable itself is used for WAN connection from serial. Okay, so the serial interface is actually, I can show you one better way. Actually, you can see. You can see the screen here. So, let's go. Okay, here you can see here the cable which is connecting, right? Here, this cable.
Yeah.
This is the port actually, the serial port. You can see
Okay.
here.
Okay.
Serial 1 and serial 0, right? So
Yeah.
the cable is connected like this way. This is the actual cable which will be connecting to a serial port, which is a LAN function.
Okay.
Okay, so actually the reason for the serial port, it is used for the WAN connection, wide area network connection. For instance, Hyderabad office wanted to connect to Bangalore, the serial interfaces are going to be used to connect to different geographical location within the city, outside of the city, outside of the state country, right? So
Yeah.
these connection types are going to be useful. So in the serial, it is always going to use there is a connector, a cable type which is going to use V.35, V.25. So that kind of cable which is going to be used to connect to the a modem. It's a modem which is going to be connected. Okay. So other side. So how the telco company can able to understand? So it should be terminated somewhere, right? So that device is called as a modem. The serial cable will be connected to a device called modem.
Okay.
Okay. So these modems are going to be connected to DCE. There are two type of devices the serial cable we have a connector type. One is a DTE data terminal equipment, which is all kind of signals receiving and sending, which can able to understand in the readable format. Whereas other called DCE, which is a synchronizing, which is in the a zero sign one. It's an electrical signals which is going to be sending the telco company.
Okay.
Okay. So that we call as a serial interface. The second interface is called Internet interfaces. Okay, Ethernet cable, Ethernet interfaces. Actually. So this is used for LAN connection. Okay, so the connection from switch is connected to Ethernet or IP address on this interface.
So Ethernet port in general we use it as a LAN cable, right?
Yes, that's right.
In normal terms.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It can be Ethernet or Ethernet. So this is usually Ethernet. in general, if I talk about, so the Ethernet interface, what it means, it's a used for the LAN connection. LAN stands for local area connection. I have a 500 users in the LAN, which is communicating each other. So how it is possible? There should be some kind of a port which is connected, right? So that we call as Ethernet. Ethernet port usually that to provide a connectivity for the LAN connections, we are most likely using Ethernet. So the connection from the switch is connected to Ethernet port. Actually, the router has the connectivity to switch because the switches is designed to communicate in the LAN portion, right? The routers are communicating in the WAN portion. So how these LAN users can able to communicate? There should be some kind of connectivity, right?
Yeah.
So that we call as a, you can see here in this case, it's a cable. Okay, you can see here, the above, all four are acting as a switches. These are the first one is switch, second one is switch, third one is switch, fourth one is switch. These all switches, the yellow color, the fourth device, you can see, it is connecting the yellow color cable, which is using to a router. That is called router, the Ethernet port which is connecting. So all the LAN communication, for instance, the head office is located in US, my branch office located in Hyderabad. So Hyderabad users wanted to communicate with US, then all the LAN users will LAN to the switches they are connecting, and switches are following the traffic to routers. So based on the LAN connection, they are using the Ethernet to connect and sending the packet, where once it receives the router is going to check where to send this packet based on the request. It will forward to US office via CDMD. Okay? So Ethernet using is the LAN connection, where serial using for LAN connection.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are other ports which I am talking about to access the device. Console port. So the console port is using for, it is an administrative port for the router or switch. So it is used for the initial configuration of any network device. So for instance, the console port is the base port. For instance, it's a brand new network. Okay, you want to configure how? What is the method to configure? So you can see in the diagram, in the picture, let me show you the screen. Okay, if you can see here, there was a light blue color cable, right? So,
Yeah.
so this light color blue, you can see here, it is written something called console. The cable name which is written called console cable,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So this will have a connector type RJ45 connector. It's a single type. So this cable we are calling as a rollover cable. Okay.
Okay.
So if you can see, this cable goes to where? It has to be connected somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
it is going to be connected to PC. Okay.
Oh,
Personal
okay.
computer or laptop, whatever. So from the PC it is going to connect to, there is a port called COM2. It's a communication. So where it is going to connect the cable, the rollover cable is going to be connected. Okay. And where using the software like a high performance and a secure CRT, Telegram. So all the software used to just it's a front end application which is giving you screen, a router screen.
So all these ports are connected all the time or only while configuration?
Sorry.
So all the ports we are discussing now, are they always connected or it's only while configuration?
It's a by configuration. So
Okay.
it depends upon the scenario to scenario.
Okay. And also if it is going to be connected to a PC, then that PC will be a server or a normal PC?
It's any PC. It doesn't matter really. It's a kind of like Windows NT or it's a Windows 98 also. It doesn't matter.
Okay, okay.
It's could be any PC. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I just want to show you like the concept on sides.
Okay.
So this is the rollover cable. Actually, you can see here the port type. It's a 9DP9 pin, which is connecting the COM port with RSA. Okay. So these will be connected to the PC, like this way. You can see here. So the console cable, the console port, which is connecting the rollover cable, which is connected to a RJ45 connector, which is connecting here on the PC side. So it can be connected to the RJ45 or it can be connected to the DB9 pin. So these are the communication port which is connecting it, right, using for the login to device.
Okay.
Okay. So this is physically for the first time you need to complete.
Okay.
This is how it looks like. You can see here. So first you enter into the device where you can able to see this is the screen. The first screen you can able to see this is what the screen, how
Okay.
it looks like. The symbol it shows as a router where you can see the COM, and you need to configure the device, accordingly. Okay. So after connecting the console port, you can see this kind of screen.
Okay.
So that we call as a COM port. There is another port called auxiliary port.
Sorry, what was that? It is called as?
This one, console
You
port.
no. The just before saying auxiliary, you said some port.
Auxiliary port. This one, the other one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
It is used for remote. Yes. So basically, say the auxiliary port is a port where, for instance, like you are located in India, okay? You are located in US.
Okay.
So somewhere in the Saudi or Dubai location, someone connecting the router, or might be in India, someone connecting the router. Okay. So we don't know, he don't have that kind of knowledge where he can able to perform any kind of network info. So all we can able to provide is the fact, based on your instruction. In that case, the auxiliary port is a port. You can see here the screenshot. In the below, you can see here after the console port it is hidden somewhere the cable is coming up. So after this port you can see there is a port called, it's a similar like a console port which we call as an auxiliary port.
Okay.
So for example, You can see here the auxiliary port, how it looks like.
Okay.
It's a similar like RJ45 connector,
Yeah.
where it is going to be connecting to modem. So it's similar like this way. Yeah, here you can see the auxiliary port, how it is connected.
Okay.
So the auxiliary port which is connecting the rollover cable, which will be connected to the modem, which will be provided by the ISP service provider. It's a telephonic line connection.
Yeah.
So what is the advantage of this? So it's a kind of telephonic line. You can dial the number, just a number, telephone line. Telephone company is going to give you a unique number. It's similar to your cell phone. Okay. So you can use a hyperterminal software. Okay. You can use the hyperterminal software.
This number is for the port or for the router, or
Sorry.
the number which ISP is going to provide us, is it going to be only for auxiliary port or for the router?
It's only for auxiliary port.
Okay.
It's only for the auxiliary port. Okay, to dial into modem, using the modem feature, you can able to dial into that. So you can see here, this is how the software looks like, the hyperterminal.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here you can see the hyperterminal, how it is going to be. So the first time you are going to use the hyperterminal is a software where you can enter into the screen. This is the screen you can able to see. So the first screen. After the screen appearing, you can see you can execute the commands like this way. So you can able to see here the screens, how it's going to be accessible. So using the software first, it is going to ask you the name. So instead of there is a other way method, you can select the auxiliary port. It will ask you the telephonic line number. So as soon as you enter the telephonic line, you can able to see the get the prompt of the device, the console prompt. It's a shell of completely control of the device, where you can log in and configure the device. Okay. So that's the advantages of the auxiliary port. So these are the ports we have, and apart from this, there is another one which is called line port. So there are a different type of ports we have in the line. So one is the first one is line 55. Second one is line 55. Third one is this two. Okay. So these line ports are say logical ports which will be used to access device remotely in way. We need to have IP address configure So this port is line by line port we call as. Line port is a logical bridge which is physically not connected. In the sense we don't even have any cables. So the fetch router you are configured using the console code. Okay. After configuring, let's assume you are located, you are in network admin that are located in the fixed port, but the switch is located in the data center. Okay. So every time you cannot go and configure, right? It is impossible for you.
Yeah.
Physically going with the application. So there is a flexibility you can able to access remotely using a application called Telnet. Okay. So they can able to access TCP with the applications called Telnet or SSH. SSH is a secure way of doing it's a protecting in the net format, where it's an unreadable format, whereas Telnet is in the real-time. So that's all the difference between. Okay. So this course will provide a flexibility. For instance, you configure IP address. You know what is the IP address? It's a unique IP which is identified. So one of the routers you configure as IP address. Using that IP address, you can log it anywhere in your network. But you need to configure this live with. Okay.
Okay.
Do you understand? Or
Yeah.
do you need any other explanation?
No, nothing. But just I want to know that Telnet is nothing but a remote desktop connection or something like that.
It's a
Telnet.
kind of similar, exactly. It's a similar to remote desktop which you are accessing, right? So how you are accessing the remote? So the PC is already configured and activated the remote desktop, right?
Yeah.
The 33894 port, so which is going to be activated. So based on the port activation, you can able to access remote desktop, right?
Okay. So same
So
with SSH
it's a
also.
similar way the Cisco router you need to enable the Telnet for unified ports. You have to configure, take that whichever the functionality wants to support the application SSH or Telnet. So once you configure that, you can able to access the remote shell from the using the application.
Okay.
Like a hyperterminal example you can take using that application access Telnet. So just you need to use the IP address and log into the
Okay. Yeah. So is it same with
that's about
SSH also?
Yeah, SSH is same. It's the same. The
Okay.
difference between Telnet and SSH is an encrypted format, which is a gen format. For instance, example like a video, the kings when they are doing, they used to send a small information. You know, so the people who is carrying from one location to another location, if you open that particular information, you cannot able to see the confidential information. So they are going to use a unique language. For instance, ABC. Instead of using ABC, they can use 1, 2, 3. Right? So you cannot able to understand 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but we can understand ABC. So using that format they used to encrypt. It's a similar like in SSH. What happened? The data is going to encrypt, which is secure. So someone cannot be tampered with that, cannot hide that. So that's the reason the SSH is going to be used. Whereas Telnet is going to be used for the DFS, the packet which is sending, which the device you are accessing, which will go to all DFS.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between these two.
Okay.
Okay. So now you got the difference between the ports, different type of ports we have in the router. And there is apart from the router, if you can see, there is one more component in the router also. What is that other component? Here. So there is a power card. You can see here this power card, right?
Yeah.
So these power cards are going to be useful for just connecting the devices, like a power supply. Providing a power supply, we need to connect a power card. There are different power card types we have. Okay, so Europe can use a different power card type, and US can use a different power card. Okay, depends upon the region it's going to use. But both the routers are going to support all kind of power. So connector types are on the female side. It's a male side and the female side are different.
Okay.
Okay. So here you can see a small button. If you can see here the black color button.
Yeah.
So that is called power on, power off.
Okay.
So you can able to power on and power off switch. Right now it is a power on.
Power on, off.
Yeah, it is power on.
Okay.
No, actually it is power on. It's opposite direction.
Okay.
So this
So
is the power on and
if it
power
is
off.
straight line, it is on.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the external interface. And apart from this, the yellow white color you can able to see on the left side.
Yeah.
So what is that? Actually, in the Internet technology is came on 1970s. But before Internet arrived, there was a different type of technology, AUI. Okay? The
Sorry.
fourth type they are using AUI.
AUI. Okay.
stands for Attached Unit Interface. So it's a legal type of connectivity they used to provide. Like, so earlier in the 1970s, the 10 Mbps is a great amount of the bandwidth. So that time, this connector type will use AUI, Attached Unit Interface. So what's the concept? It's the same Internet functionality way you need to connect a special type of connector. It's not hard to find. Okay?
Okay.
It is
Okay.
a different kind of technology, and I think it's totally connected. But nowadays, lately, when the RJ45 implemented, they created a translation. It's a converter. So
Okay.
the code is going to be converted where you can insert the RJ45 and use it. These are the white colors are just converted.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But nowadays, these kind of routers you cannot see. This is the old routers.
Okay. So in this picture, can you just go back to the picture?
Yeah, yeah. Sure.
So in this picture, we are having totally 3 routers, right?
Yes, 3 routers. On the above, it's a small router, and the below is a 2 routers.
Okay. And the dark blue ones are the serial interfaces, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And the light blue is the console thing.
Correct.
Okay. Fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And console code we discussed.
We are currently discussing user modes. I mean,
Sorry,
setup
user.
router modes. Sorry. So
Yeah. Before discussing, I would like to discuss the final thing is power supply.
okay.
Power supply. Power supply. It has small SMPS, which is used to give DC current. So we know what is meant by the power supply. To get any device, to work any device, it needs to have a power, right? Without power, it is nothing is possible. So how
Yeah.
it can provide? It has a small SMPS. So SMPS, it is going to be providing a power supply to the device where all kind of functionality the device can able to do. Okay.
Yeah.
So the DC power supply. What is meant by DC power supply? DC means it's an input, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Output is different than input. Input power supply.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So internal components. Do you want to see the internal components of the router? Should I explain a little?
Is it?
Yeah. Do you want to continue tomorrow?
Yeah. We'll continue it tomorrow.
So shall I say I will send you this theory. So
Yeah.
tomorrow I will talk about 2 things.
The internal structure of router and the remaining router modes.
This one is complete. This router modes. Should I send you the doc?
Anyways, it's okay.
Actually, I thought of like, just cover a small, but, and giving you some picture of this so that you can have a better idea. In CCNA, usually this making won't discuss, but, I'm just talking to you, so it will be advantage for you.
Okay. Okay. Just type CCNA. You might. It's there. It's there. It's there. It just went down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, please make a note and I'll repeat it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, all right, now I'm going to stop here, so let's start tomorrow.
Yeah, sure.
Tomorrow we are, start around 2 my time, and what is your time?
My time it will be 1:30 p.m.
Okay for you?
Yeah, it's okay for me. Daytime it's anyways okay for me.
Okay. So I'll catch you tomorrow then. See you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.